For this week's Indie Showcase, these are my favorite demos from Tacticon July 2024. So sit back, relax, and get ready to enjoy strategic thinking, strategy, and missing lots and lots of two-hit chances. We are starting things off with Vultures, Scavengers of Death. This game is essentially a tactical strategy survival horror. Stop me if you've heard this one before. A city in the 90s has succumbed to a mysterious virus that has turned its residents into zombies, and we have been sent in to try and figure out what happened. But instead of entering a world of survival horror, we are entering a world of strategic horror. Our mission is to explore the police station, trying to find the information we need and possibly a cure, one turn at a time to deal with the myriad of enemies. How combat works in this is the entire game is played turn-based. When you are spotted by enemy or initiate attack, the game goes into turn-based mode, with you going first and then all the enemies going second. You have a to-hit chance based on the distance and the weapon you're using. And different weapons will have different to-hit chances as well as different AP uses for them. Now, the challenge of this game is not only do you have to deal with the turn-based uses of your AP and your weapons, but you also have to deal with ammo and the fact that enemies will come back if you don't go for the head. So you'll need to plan accordingly to make sure you go for those headshots when you need them, or a knife shot, or some other weapon. Other than that, this is going to be about exploring the police station, finding all kinds of strange keys, solving puzzles, and again, trying to deal with these enemies. I like the concept of this one, but I wanted to kind of see a little bit more depth to the kind of tactical strategy. At the moment, the only real kind of decision making you have to do is again trying to get like sneak attacks in and then going for the headshot to finish them off. And I was hoping for again a little bit more interaction with the player, the enemies, and the environment. There is still something very compelling about this game and playing a kind of Resident Evil turn-based. So if you like survival horror, but you're looking for one that is more turn-based terror than real-time, then definitely give this one a check. We now switch over to Ironhive, a turn-based city builder. We've been elected the newly crowned mayor or leader of this settlement, and it's up to us to keep everyone happy, keep growing our tower, and try to fall to any calamities that may come up. The gameplay here is turn-based. Each turn you will draw a collection of cards from your deck. These can be resource cards, character cards, or special action cards, and they can be attached to various buildings, services, and more in order to make use of them. You can't see it because my tally in the upper right is blocking it, but you have resources that are dedicated to the different kind of groups in your, or factions in your tower. These resources are used both as a form of payment to them and as a way of activating special cards. In order to build more of your tower, you need to set up buildings and then assign the correct workers and resources to them. This will allow you to either gain more resources, produce more workers, or other effects. And you'll also have to deal with a myriad of events that can come that can make life worse for you. I like the aesthetics and tone of this one, but the main issue of Ironhive right now is that the onboarding is just absolutely terrible. It does not do a good job at the moment of explaining what it is you're trying to do or what your goal is. And it took me till like almost the very end of my play of it on stream to actually understand that we were able to build structures the entire time, as the onboarding didn't even come close to mentioning something like that in this game. If they can smooth out the UI UX issues in this respect, this could be a very interesting take on a turn-based city builder and could be one that's worth your time. We now switch over to Seer's Gambit. This is the one we played a while ago and they had an updated one for Tacticon. This is an auto battler style game where you must arrange your party and decide who goes into it in order to fight a myriad of enemies. There are roguelite elements involved. By completing specific areas, you'll gain access to specific rewards and resources that can be used to permanently unlock new features going forward. As with the auto battler rules, characters belong to different classes, which in turn, by combining certain synergies, will enhance them in unique ways, giving them new abilities, new passives, etc. Now, we played this one to the point where unfortunately I found a soft lock, which, to be fair, this is the second time during our Tacticon stream where I had some kind of game-breaking bug or weird issue, so it was not the only one, but definitely enjoyed what I was seeing with it. And if you are a fan of auto battler style games, then you should definitely give this one a check. We now switch over to The Deadly Path. This is a kind of, I guess, like cultist sim or like tabletop-esque style game. It is your job to use demons, monsters, and more to help out your favorite Lovecraftian god of choice in order to complete specific challenges and keep your people fed and apparently paid, because I guess demons are unionized now. This one is played in kind of a real-time system. Everything is operated on timers. When certain timers run out, you'll gain resources, or your characters will demand their weekly or whatever timely pay. If you cannot pay them, you kind of enter a partial fail state. You'll pay them 2 times, and it is game over. Your progression in this is about accumulating the resources that you need in order to construct new buildings, hire new characters, which you can then attach to them in order to perform specific tasks. When time kind of runs out, or when the time comes, you can move to a new age. And it's at this period where basically you get increased resource drain and dangers can happen, but completing it will move you towards like the next point, where new buildings, characters, and features become available. Now, the demo itself showed off, at least or preview, different gods and different kind of characters you can play as, so there is definitely going to be some variety. I don't know kind of how the main game is supposed to play. Is this going to be kind of like a roguelite style, or is each character their own like campaign onto themselves? The difficulty in this one can be a little bit higher. You are really at the mercy in terms of resource drain in the start until you can get stabilized and have enough bone, meat, and gold coming in to keep your people going and keep constructing structures. You're kind of behind the 8 ball. And I do wonder if that may make things a little bit easier when you're starting out. I still like the aesthetics and general design of this one, and if you're looking for some, I guess, evil management for your strategy games, then you should at least give this one a try. We now switch over to Tempest Rising. Stop me if you've heard this one before. 2 powerful groups are battling it out and commanding units in order to conquer the world using a mysterious resource. So, that should pretty much give you an idea of what this game is all about. From our time spent playing Tempest Rising, it's definitely leaning into the Command & Conquer, kind of more like later ones, like a Command & Conquer 3, that style, where you'll build a base, use your verbal command bar in order to set down buildings, and try and take out the enemy on the map. Now, from the time with this one, it did feel a little bit rough. I didn't see a way to do like a force move, despite being able to just run over units using your giant tanks. And the AI felt a little bit sketchy in places, when it just sent like an entire invasion force from a completely different direction on the map than where the base was. Still, this is very much like early in terms of like the demo and what we're seeing, and for anyone who's hankering for a new Command & Conquer style RTS, it's definitely worth a check just on that alone. But if you're hoping for a reinvention or an evolution of RTS design, I'm not sure this game is rising to the occasion just yet, but this is still one that's worth keeping an eye out for when it is released. Now up is Space Prison. Now the footage you're seeing is played using a press key, but the game did have a demo and was basically revealed and released during Tacticon. This is an RPG / I guess roguelite in a sense. You have been sent to space prison, the absolute worst place in the universe to be a convict, where the gangs run the show. You are apparently brought back to life if you are beaten up or killed to serve out your sentence, and everyone hates your guts. And you're going to have to figure out how to survive and keep your sanity in check while completing tasks and maybe trying to figure out how to break out. Our game here features a curious mix of elements. Each day, the halls of the prison are shuffled. This means that you'll have different events that can show up. You'll have to complete various quests, and you're limited each day based on the amount of hours. You can't be out past curfew, which means you need to get as much done during the day as you can. You'll be able to take any crafting materials and items back to your cell that you can use to upgrade or craft new things that you can then use out in the world. Either open up new areas, complete quests, or to use in combat. Combat is handled turn-based style, where characters will attack, and you can only attack something that's like in the row in front of you unless you have a specific range style. Armor and weapons that you craft have durability to them, but it's used kind of as a battle by battle. So if I want to use a weapon, it's going to cost me 1 durability for that entire battle. When it runs out, I'll need to repair it or craft something else. And there is a long form story depending upon which gangs you choose, or if you choose to go it alone, and what you're trying to achieve or things you're trying to discover while you're in the prison. It's a very interesting mix of designs. It's not quite the kind of like prison simulator or kind of like story focused one compared to some of the other prison style games we've played, but the kind of roguelike elements certainly give it a unique flair. I would definitely recommend giving this one a check, because if it works for you, then you're going to find a fairly meaty and challenging game to play, and the demo is still available as of this time. And for the last game of our showcase, this is Ground of Aces. This is a kind of colony sim, business sim style of, say, something like a RimWorld or something along the lines of Prison Architect. But instead of constructing a settlement or running a prison, you are building and maintaining a World War II airfield. Your job is to set up the base, make sure that all the people on it are happy and productive, and get a airfield and planes going in order to go out and do missions to help win World War II. Now, there is no like arcade or flight sim style combat in this. It is focusing purely on the management sim. You'll need to set up various buildings made up of different materials, make sure they have the necessary machinery or items needed to perform their services, and keep all the needs and wants of your various crew members met. Once you get things established, you'll then be able to construct an airfield, start getting planes moved in, and then start sending people out. Now, the demo itself was a little bit on the trickier side. There's no real onboarding from we play, which meant it was a little bit hard to figure out what I should be doing or what I should be focusing on. But I do like the theme and general like aesthetic, kind of like this like comic book, almost like pop art style for the cutscenes. And there is certainly something different here, especially for people who are used to more like colony sim or more on the like business sim style. It's hard to tell from the demo just how difficult or easy the main game is going to be aimed for, but there's definitely going to be something here if you enjoy the kind of business sim style genre or management sim, but looking for a very different theme and setting for it. And with that, we are wrapping things up for Tacticon 2024. You'll find links to all the games down below. If you have a game you'd like me to look at for a future stream and showcase, please reach out, because I'm sure we'll be back with another festival coming real soon. Thanks again for watching, and have a great rest of your day. Thanks for watching, and a special thank you to our Patreon supporters. If you enjoyed the video, do the YouTubing stuff, be sure to visit our Discord and Patreon, and if you're interested in more in my thoughts on design, check out my game design books.